What is up, everyone? My name is DDO6 and welcome back to the channel. Let us get real for a second because you think the economy is finally getting better just because the news stops screaming about inflation every 5 minutes. But look at your grocery receipt, look at your rent, and look at the price of a used car in 2026. The truth is you are being lied to, and the macro data says 3% inflation, but your reality is an affordability crisis that is suffocating the middle class. While the big corporations are using AI to slash labor costs and pump their earnings by 31%. If you are tired of being a passenger in your own financial life, I want you to stop right now and drop your age and the exact amount you invested last month in the comments. I do not care if it was $5 or $5,000 because the only way we win is by being honest about where we are starting, and I want to see who is actually playing the game and who is just watching from the sidelines. We are done with the excuses, and today we are talking about how to stop being the exit liquidity for the 1% and how to actually build a $120,000 portfolio starting from zero, even in this unstable market. Look, 2026 is the year of the K-shaped reality, where on one side you have the people holding asset stocks and real estate who are watching their net worth climb a wall of worry. On the other side, you have everyone else getting crushed by the cost of capital and the rising cost of existing. If you do not own the machines, meaning the index funds that own the companies using technology to stay profitable, you are the one being optimized out of the equation. I am not here to give you a lecture, I am here to give you a roadmap because when I graduated back in 2020, the world was falling apart and I had absolutely nothing. I realized one thing early on, which is that time in the market beats timing the market every single time. I stopped trying to find the next 100 times I'm on shot and started aggressive DCA into VO and VTI. Why VOO and VTI? Because while you are busy trying to guess which way the Fed will breathe, these funds are capturing the total growth of the US economy. VTI is currently trading at a level that reflects the massive productivity gains we have seen, and it has been a consistent wealth generator for those with the stomach to hold. Imagine if you had just stayed consistent instead of jumping in and out like a gambler at a casino. You want to know the secret to that $120,000 milestone. It was not a lucky trade or a crypto pump. It was the boring stuff, like living in what my friends called a minimalist concrete box while they were signing $3,000 leases for luxury apartments. They could not afford it was driving a 2006 sedan that probably should have been in a museum while everyone else was getting locked into 7% interest rates on car loans that cost more than their education. Every dollar I did not spend on looking rich went into my Roth IRA and my taxable brokerage account. In 2026, cash is no longer trash because high-yield savings accounts are finally giving us 4.2%, but that is still a trap for your long-term wealth. 4% is for your emergency fund, but for your freedom fund, you need the equity risk premium. If you want to retire before your hair turns gray, you need compound interest working while you sleep. Let us talk about the math because numbers do not lie even when people do. And if you are doing a bi-weekly investment of $500 into a broad market index, like VOO, which tracks the SP 500, you are hitting six figures faster than you think. But the 2026 market is unstable and we are seeing sector rotations that would make a day trader cry. That is why we use dollar cost averaging, because when the market dips, you are buying more shares, and when it hits a new high, you are still building the habit. You are not a genius, you are a machine, and the goal is to accumulate shares, not to watch the daily fluctuations. Like a hawk, the common person gets scared during a 10% drawdown and sells their future for a 20% loss because they lack the discipline. Do not be that person, and instead be the person who understands that a red day is just a discount on your future freedom. Stop buying things you do not need to impress people you do not like, who are also broke. The culture in 2026 is obsessed with the appearance of wealth while being one paycheck away from a total collapse. If you are 24 and you have $10,000 in a Roth IRA invested in SHD for those dividends or VU for growth, you are already ahead of 90% of the population. I do not care about your aesthetic or your social media feed, I care about your balance sheet. The system is designed to keep you in debt and keep you consuming because that is how the big players stay on top. Breaking that cycle is the ultimate act of rebellion. You need to understand that every single dollar you invest today is a soldier working for your future self. And in 2026, the cost of delay is higher than it has ever been. If you wait another year to start, you are not just losing 12 months of contributions, you are losing the compounding effect of those shares for the next 30 years. Let us look at the actual tools because people always ask, what exactly should I buy? I am a huge fan of the simple 3-fund portfolio or even just a total world stock market fund like VT if you want maximum diversification. But for me, the backbone has always been VOO, which is the 500 largest companies in the US. These companies are the ones that own the patents, the ones that own the AI, and the ones that have the pricing power to pass inflation costs onto you, the consumer. If you cannot beat them, you must own them, and that is exactly what index investing allows you to do. Think about your phone, your computer, the coffee you drank this morning, and chances are you are already giving your money to these companies. Why not take a piece of the profit back? Now let us talk about the psychology, because this is where most people fail, and it is easy to invest when the market is green and everyone is talking about how much money they made. But when the headlines start talking about a potential crash or a geopolitical crisis in 2026, that is when the real investors are made. I remember in late 2025 when everyone was panic selling because of the interest rate uncertainty and I just kept my auto transfer on. I did not even look at the balance for 3 months because I knew that if I looked, I might get emotional, and the math does not care about your feelings. The math only cares about the number of shares you own and the time they have to grow. You also need to look at your tax advantaged accounts first. And if you have a 401k with a company match, that is literally a 100% return on your money immediately. After that, the Roth IRA is your best friend because in 2026, we know taxes are likely going up in the future, and having a bucket of money that grows tax-free and can be withdrawn tax-free is a massive strategic advantage. I see so many people in their 20s and 30s wasting their Roth IRA space on speculative options or meme stocks. Stop doing that and put your VOU or your SCG in there and let the dividends reinvest automatically. By the time you are 50, that account will be a fortress that no government can touch. And let us address the lifestyle creep, because this is the silent killer of wealth. As you move up in your career and start making that corporate salary, it is so tempting to upgrade the car or move into the penthouse. But if you can keep your expenses at the level they were when you first graduated, you can invest 50 or 60% of your income. That is how you go from $0 to $120,000 in a few short years instead of 40 years. I am still driving that 2006 car because it gets me from point A to point B, and the $500 a month I am not spending on a car payment is currently buying me about 1.4 shares of VTI every single month. In 10 years, those shares will be worth more than any depreciating piece of metal on 4 wheels. You have to decide if you want to look rich now or actually be wealthy later. The people who are flexing on social media are usually the ones with the most debt and the least freedom. They are stressed about their credit card bills while you are sleeping soundly because you know your net worth is growing even while you sleep. This is the ultimate peace of mind, and it is available to anyone who is willing to be disciplined. We are living through a massive technological shift, and the 2026 economy is going to reward those who are positioned correctly. Do not get distracted by the noise or the latest trending topic on the news. Focus on your income, focus on your savings rate, and focus on your investment consistency. The formula for wealth has not changed in 100 years, and it is just spend less than you earn and invest the difference in productive assets for a long period of time. It sounds simple because it is simple, but it is not easy because it requires you to go against the grain of a society that wants you to be a perpetual consumer. Be the anomaly, be the person who chooses freedom over status. I want you to take one action item from this video, and whether it is opening your first brokerage account or increasing your DCA by just $50 a month, just do it. Small changes compounded over time lead to massive results, and you will look back in 5 years and thank yourself for starting today. The journey to $120,000 starts with the first $100 and then the first $1,000. Once you hit that first $10,000, the momentum starts to kick in and you start to see the power of the snowball. Stay focused, stay disciplined, and keep your eyes on the prize because the future belongs to the prepared. I am going to keep bringing you the raw truth and the actual numbers because you deserve to know how the game is played. We are building a community of winners here who are taking control of their financial destinies. If you found value in this breakdown, do me a favor and smash that like button so the algorithm knows this is the kind of content that actually helps people. I will be back next week with another deep dive into the 2026 market and how we can continue to grow our bags. Until then, stay hungry and stay invested. Hit that subscribe button. Peace.